Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying. It is rally week after what feels like a much shorter gap than we've had recently. The WRC is back in action this week for round 6, which is Rally Italia Sardinia. So we've got a nice weekend in the Mediterranean, which I'm not at, unfortunately. So we have 320 kilometers of stages to look forward to, and the teams will be happy to know that their schedule is a little bit more normal this time. So Friday has 120 kilometers spread over just 6 stages. Saturday is a smidge longer at just under 122 kilometers with another 6 tests. Can't even get my words out. And then Sunday is the usual much shorter affair with 78 kilometers and 4 stages. So a fairly standard format in that respect. Will it be a standard weekend though? I suspect not. Always a tough test, isn't it, Sardinia? The weather looks dry, temperatures are looking to be in the low 30s, so expect it to be rather warm in those cars over the weekend. Last year's rally was won by Tänak. He had Sebastian Ogier and Dani Sordo behind him. No Dani Sordo, of course, this year, as he seems to have disappeared from the Hyundai lineup. We were hoping he might get a farewell outing, but that doesn't seem to have been the case so far. The start order this year is as per the championship order, of course. So Evans will be opening the road with Kalle Rovanperä behind him, Thierry Neuville, Ogier, Tänak, Formo, Katsuta, Pajari, Munster, Sesks, Macalin, and Jordan Serdaridis, who returns to action. Well, let's get into who's going to finish where, shall we? I think the one thing that is clear is that Elfyn Evans needs a better weekend than he had in Portugal. It was not a great one for him, not really enough points scored. His championship lead was slashed from 43 points to 30 points. So he's still in a safe, strong position, but he definitely needs a better weekend than he had in Portugal. And that is going to be difficult, obviously, opening the road. Getting through these couple of rallies is a really big test for him, especially with 5 more gravel events to come. I think he's 5 more, isn't it? After this weekend, so he has got a big job on his hands, and it is very much about scoring as many points as possible. He needs to take a leaf out of the Ogier book in terms of scoring points while opening the road. So he needs to make sure that he is in or around the podium just to keep the pressure off. I think if he has another bad weekend here, he's still going to be leading the championship potentially, unless things go really, really wrong. But it's not going to look good, is it? It's not going to be good for his mental state if he loses, another big chunk of points this weekend to Rovanperä. Speaking of Rovanperä, he starts second on the road. And did we expect such a strong points haul from him last time? No, I don't think we did we? So he has shown, he showed last time out that, you can score big points even though he was not comfortable with road position, not comfortable with the tyres still. So that is what Evans needs to be looking at, is that he needs to put in those strong weekends even when things are not in his favour. Talking of things not being in his favour, last year's winner, Tänak, he was robbed at Rally Portugal, wasn't he? He should have won that event. He was well in control until power steering failure curtailed his victory chances. So last year's winner, obviously in Sardinia, as I said, I think he is my bet for victory again. I think he will be very, very hungry for winning after the issues in Portugal, and we know that he goes well in Sardinia. So he is maybe a slightly safe bet, but I think he is my bet. He's in a reasonable position in championship terms, isn't he? But a victory would obviously get him back into the fight, and obviously if he can take a big chunk of points from Elfyn Evans, that will be all the better. So I am going to get my prediction out of the way early and say that Tänak is going to win, even though that Sebastian Ogier is right there and will have a good road position when he starts. 4th on the road, so I think he will be a threat as always, even though he has admitted that speed is not necessarily on his side these days. Another man who does need a good result is Thierry Neuville. Not a great Portugal for him. He had a few issues, a few moments, a few bumps and bruises, and he sits 3rd in the title standings, doesn't he? Starting 3rd on the road here, so he's not got an ideal road position, but obviously Evans and Rovanpera will be doing the majority of the road position. So what we need to see is that plucky Thierry Neuville that we saw last year, who was racking up points even in difficult circumstances. And if he's not careful, he will fall away from this championship fight. So he definitely needs a good weekend. In other news, who do we want to talk about? Who haven't I talked about? I've talked about Ogier, talked about Rovanpera. Other Toyotas, we've got Takamoto, Katsuta and Sami Pajari. Pajari obviously building experience in the Rally 1 car, so perhaps don't expect too much of him. Katsuta, he just needs some consistency, doesn't he? You know, he's keeps showing flashes of speed, but that consistency has not been there. So I think he needs to build on that. I do want to talk about M Sport, however. So Martin Cesc is in a Puma again this weekend. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes. He had a difficult Portugal, very early puncture kind of ruined his weekend effectively, didn't it? So a bit of a shame for him there, but hopefully we'll see some decent performance there. Obviously a good running order position for him. What was interesting is that Rich Milner, forgot his name for a moment there, sorry Rich, said to dirtfish.com earlier, late last week, sorry, that the Puma is good enough and increases in performance need to come from the drivers. So I thought that was an interesting comment, trying to give them a little bit of a G up there. And I think he is right to some extent. You know, the harsh truth is that the Puma is not the fastest Rally 1 car, and M Sport obviously don't have the development budget to get it to that position, but the car is close, isn't it? You know, we have seen that it is capable of setting good stage time. So while on ultimate pace in perfect conditions with equal drivers, it's probably not going to be as quick as the Toyota or the Hyundai. You know, there is still capability in that car. So, you know, he is right to say that, you know, it is on Michelin and Munster to set good times and to up their game to match the level of the car. And I think, you know, in the case of Michelin, he is showing that. You know, he's very inexperienced relatively, so he is building, and I think he's going in the right direction. I think there is a little bit of pressure creeping in against Munster now, isn't there? You know, he's been in that car longer. He doesn't have a good experience of all of the rallies, but I think people are starting to think, well, you know, you've been there a while now. It's time to start showing a bit more speed. So he's not going to lose his seat anytime soon, I don't think, but he does need to start showing a little bit more speed and consistency for me. So that is M Sport. As I said, Jordan Cederidis is in the 4th car. Not obviously a threat to the times, but nice to see him out there having fun. In WRC2, Johan Russell leads the field away in a Citroen. Oliver Solberg is 2nd on the road in WRC2, but I don't think he is scoring points this weekend. There are plenty of other names to look out for, though. I think there are 34-ish cars registered for WRC2. So names to watch are Jan Solens, he is 3rd on the road, Alejandro Cajon, Rupert Cohen. There are lots of names still in there. Even Emile Lindholm and Pierre-Louis Loubet might be worth an outside bet. They're starting much further down the order. And obviously I don't have lots and lots of recent experience, having been a bit in and out over the last year or so, but you never know, do you? It would be nice, I must say, it would be nice to see Pierre-Louis Loubet back in the mix after a very, very difficult season last year. So we'll see what happens there. As I said, that is WRC2. And let's go back to my prediction, shall we? So I said Tänak was going to win. Where is the rest of the podium going to end up? Let's say, I'm going to say that Sébastien Ogier is going to finish 2nd in a repeat of 2024. And I am going to put Thierry Neuville 3rd and Elfyn Evans 4th. Those are my predictions, but now it is over to you. Who do you think is going to finish where? Let me know in the comments below. I do enjoy engaging in a good debate with all of you, so thank you for all of you that comment on the videos. Otherwise, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Follow me over on socials, and I will see you next time.